Hello, everybody. Welcome, 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 and welcome, Debbie.
Hi there.
Hello. How are you?
A lot of people in here. Oh.
Yeah, we've already got people coming in. So, Annie Bear, hello, lovely, and Juno and Judy, good to see you. Hypnicity, hello. Joyful Journey. And you know what? I forgot to say we were going live. Everybody gets a thing on my channel. Everybody gets a thing. They get a notice, but I want to make sure that I'm going to go ahead and go into this and let me just do that real quick and just announce that we're going live. So welcome, Debbie. And I love having you on, Debbie. And I wish we were talking backstage, and I really wish that I would have
recorded all
there
that.
we go. I wish that I would have I'm just going to say going live right now, going live. There we go.
Hey.
I always do that, but we had the best conversation going. So hello, 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 everybody. Anyway, I'll go back down here. There we go. Now we're back. Hey, Juno. Good to see you, Judy, Hypnicity, Annie Bear. Hi, Akila. How are you? So we were talking backstage about the energies that are coming in and acclimating with the energies and bringing them in slowly if you wanted to, and not too fast, not turning on that bright light. I loved your metaphor for that, Debbie.
Yeah. Like I was telling Teri backstage, I'm one of those who would prefer to see a pre-dawn cycle as we head into, because we are being hit with more photons from the Alkean belt. And so it is not just upgrading us, and it's also hitting everyone in the planet. And by everyone, I mean all of our animal friends, the trees, the mushrooms, all of our creatures that are in the oceans. And so sometimes what we're having is people that are really keen on the apocalypse. I think it's also called Revelations. And I know there's another catchphrase that's going around where basically we have just this bright white light that will come onto the planet and then just completely, upgrade everything all at once. And while the flash of light can be a fun idea to think of, it would be akin to having your mom when you were a teenager come stomp, stomp, stomp into your bedroom while you're deep asleep and then flipping on the bedroom light. it's effective, yes, but it is also jarring. So I prefer the idea of being able to allow Mother Nature comes in and does the pre-dawn cycle with her light, and that will gradually and gently wake everything up.
Yeah, I prefer to go with that energy too. And hi, Sonia. So I really feel like it's kind of jarring just to even think about the 3 days of darkness or what people are saying could happen. And there will be things that happen around the planet. There always are natural disasters and whatnot. But there's a lot that we want to take slowly. We had Reverend Saul was a good friend of the channel, and he walked out of his body several months ago. But he always said we were born with a Maserati for our brain, but we can float with a jalopy right now. We need to go at jalopy speed. So going slowly. Yeah.
Yes, to do that.
Yeah. But he still visits. He does, doesn't he, Annie? Yeah. Yeah. So in acclimating to this energy as it comes in, I think sometimes people think that a lot of it's about the psychic tools that we get as that comes in, and that's a natural byproduct.
Yes.
And everybody here knows that actually the biggest part of that is walking in our light and realizing our strength and our power and our divinity.
Well, and this month for the Lemurian calendar is the month of Namu, which is the sign of the dove. And the essence of that is peace. So one of the steps that you can do this month is to do frequency music or tuning forks that are 600 hertz or above. And that is something that you can do that is very easy. And you don't have to do it every minute of the day. You can just take a little bit of time, especially if you're feeling whirled and swirled, or if you're feeling really exhausted, because that's another ascension symptom that I've seen going on. You can just turn on some frequency music. YouTube is a great place to look for it if you don't have a tuning fork yourself. Again, 600 hertz or above is what you're aiming for this month. And we're trying to aim for anything that's going to soothe the nerves, because in our current hubbub and our current climate, there's so much pressure over the next upcoming months. Everybody is all keyed up with the changes that are going to happen with the politics, or not happen with the politics. And so the 600 hertz frequency can help with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Aloha, Betsy Palmer.
Hello.
Yeah, there's going to be changes coming in. There's always changes. And as they come in, it's like witnessing them, observing them without being tied to them. Annie's saying inside and outside, she plays 600 or above hertz music, Apple Music. Love that, Annie. So, hey, Judy. Hi. And Rossi. So, yeah. And it is a little jarring, all the energy coming in, because you feel it, right? You feel the tension when you watch a channel and they're talking about preparation, prepping. And I love what you said about tying your camel. What was that quote that you had?
It's from the Muslims. It was an old phrase that I had heard. It was trust in Allah, but tie your camel, which just delights me because it tells you to trust in your source, your universe, your God, whatever label you want to put it. We all know that there is some version of a higher light that is our soul essence. But at the same time, we are here in the 3D world. So do the steps that you need to do down here to keep yourself safe. I mean, you're always going to tie your shoelaces. So like I was telling Teri, the 3 days of darkness, of course, it makes good sense to always have stocks on hand to withstand, say, being out of your electrical grid for 2.5 weeks, because a storm could come through. It could wipe out a tree that takes out a transformer that could take out a half or a whole of your city. It may take a very long time for them to actually bring in the new equipment to get it installed, and then they have to go house by house to ensure that the electrical in that home is still safe to go ahead and rewire and rehook it into. That's all going to take time. So it's not that you have to dash around and freak out about it. When you're at the grocery store, pick up a jar of peanut butter, pick up a jar of beans, and just that little extra bit that you can do each step of the way, so that little by little you're building your pantry. Think in terms of camping without any form of electricity. What are you going to eat? You want things that are going to be easily cooked over some sort of a gas furnace outside, barbecue pit outside. Make sure that you've got your your water supply on hand, things like this.
Yeah. We've been talking about water on the channel for years. Just number one, I don't trust the tap water that comes in. So there's no way. So I
it's not water and run it through filters.
Yeah. I have a gravitational Berkey filter that just sits on my countertop, and I just pour the water in there, and that's what we drink. Yeah, and nuts. Sonia, I love that idea. Nuts are great. And I have a couple of extra cans of Petro for my gas grill. Always. Just I started doing that a long time ago, but really before the pandemic hit, we were talking about that backstage. I stocked up on things, thinking that, not knowing that it was going to be a pandemic, but thinking that it was going to be something that came up. But I overdid it. I really overdid it. I mean, I still have,
But at
you
the
know.
same time, you now have that supply on hand, and you can always use that and then replace it and replenish it so that your pantry is always fresh. Because let's face it, we don't want to eat meals ready to eat from Y2K.
Right? Yeah, yeah. It was funny. I had gone on Amazon and I'd bought these cans, big cans of that last for 10 years, and they're all organic. And I mean, they're cardboard cans. They're not, but
Mhm,
yeah, yeah, like dried eggs, dried
mhm,
milk, dried
mhm.
cheese, dried fruit and vegetables. And accidentally, somehow, I'd hit a double order. And when I hit a double
Oh,
order, I was like, oh,
you're ready to feed the block.
yeah, party at my house. That's what I always say.
Yeah,
Party at my house if anything happens. It's all organic. It's all sitting there, it'll
really,
be there for years.
surely everybody's been through this where you've had a natural disaster and everybody does get together. They'll either gather in one home to save heat, or everybody's going to somebody's place because they've got chili and somebody else has something else to offer. It's that communal thing again of taking care of each other.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is. I know when I lived in South Florida and we'd have a hurricane,
Yep.
because we lived by the beach, so we'd go to friends' houses and we'd do that. Everybody'd bring food,
Yeah.
our
Have a
parents, whoever. Yeah. Yeah, and get everybody taken care of. Oh, raisins. That sounds good, Sonia. Um, so there's a lot going on though right now in ways that we can acclimate. Um, yeah, and to walk, and we were talking about that too, about grounding. Um,
We're going to have different techniques for grounding, but some of the most popular ones in Western astrology, if you are a grounded earth sign type, you can take your walks, you can hug a tree, you can sit in nature, you can play with your garden. You can look on YouTube if you're in an area that has triple digit heat, you can look on YouTube for that. Um, there are people that take nature walks or ride a horse or something along those lines. If you are a water baby, head head to the beach. You can head to your bathtub or a shower if you can't get there, or you can just sit in your meditation and you can imagine yourself in or around a waterfall that's sluicing. If you're an air sign, you can imagine yourself in billowing clouds or a place like on a cliff where the wind blows. And then fire signs, you can imagine yourselves by a big roaring bonfire with s'mores, just throwing things into the fires, hearing that crackling sound. These are all things that would align with what you would find most natural for your own grounding techniques.
yeah, I love that array, Debbie. I also feel like breath work is huge.
Mhm.
Going through all this because it's really easy to do a shallow breath. When you think of natural disasters, just thinking of a natural disaster kind of gives you a shallow breath. And
Singing
not
is song.
oh, right? I love singing. Yeah.
I like singing a silly song because it guarantees that you're going to belt that out as loud as you can, and it won't matter if you're off key. Sometimes it's even funnier if you go even further off key with it. But by doing that, you're automatically going to be taking a really big deep breath. And as she was saying, it's breath work is really good not only to fill your lungs with the air, but also as you're breathing out, you can make sounds. You can do humming or an ah sound that will help to vibrate that vagus nerve in your body, which will help to offload some of the stress. Because a lot of times, even though the photons that are coming in are good and beneficial, they are agitating our nervous system. And that's not even counting our usual load of stress that we have just from a normal day. And our entertainment, our computers, TVs, radios. Those are also going to be stressors as well. We need to be very aware of what we're consuming right now.
Yeah. Also, I feel like the media has hyped up to that too, that, as that comes in, because the media has definitely gotten, more and more, more and more and more
Yeah.
since, the '80s. I remember seeing, the local station, I think Fox started down there in South Florida or something, and, it was just a little bit more. Everybody had on, like, a slicker if there was gonna be a raindrop or
Mhm.
big jewelry or, it was different, and it's just gotten more so as time has got developed,
Yeah,
but,
and the reason for that is because the 2D entities that siphon off our energy, they are triggering us just to be able to feed off of any form of the fear, stress, anger. Basically, anything that's going to distress us, those 2D entities are feeding off of it. So sometimes you'll come away from watching a TV show and you're exhausted. That's why. It's because they're vampiring off of us.
yeah. Judy, I love that. Judy says, they said media now on 7-minute algorithm instead of 15, tensing up.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I can understand that. Um, and it's gonna be kinda natural if anything happens around the planet, and lots of things are, that we're gonna look to the news every now and then and
Yep.
watch it.
Mhm.
And And that's smart, again, that's tying your camel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you wanna know what's going on, but to also watch it, like, observe it, witnessing it. Hypnicity, you turned off your TV. Yeah, we don't have news. I haven't had, regular news, live news forever unless I get on my laptop.
Yeah. I'm the same way.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I'll look for something if there's a fire in the region and most of the time I'm looking at the sky going, "Huh, that doesn't look normal." I wonder if there's something going on. That looks close. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, Judy, you gave up 2 months ago and you're floating. That's
Your world gets a lot more peaceful.
yeah. Yeah, it really does, doesn't it? And when we walk into that light and kind of witness things, witnessing awareness,
Mhm.
and watch things that are happening, it changes the way people react to you, number 1,
Mhm.
but also the way that we react to things. And it's like, and it brings in a different kind of vibration of the people around you, your community,
Mhm.
your animals definitely relax, your
Mhm.
family. Yeah, it's just huge. So I'm just gonna say this because I live in Kansas City and, Taylor Swift is here with Kelsey. I don't know if you know who they are or not,
Mhm.
Debbie. You do? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, so they're dating, and now, Patrick Mahomes, our quarterback, who is a huge deal in town, it turns out he might be a very red person and his wife as well. So
Mhm.
now it's like, his wife and Taylor Swift aren't talking, and they were quite close friends for a little while, but that's what the media says. But I think the best thing is if we have somebody that we disagree with to still send them love and to still talk and have civil discourse and still have a relationship.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
and there again, I'll go back to the whole that I don't usually like to talk about politics, and this is the reason why, is
yeah.
because politics, anything at all, even the football thing, where you've got my team versus your team, red versus black, green versus yellow. Um, I don't like you because you back so and so, and oh my God, I didn't know you like so and so, so now I can't like you. Um, the only reason that exists is because they needed to create division. Nobody is happy. Nobody. And they make it look like both sides are 50-50, so that one side or the other could just win by just a sliver. No, that's not the truth at all. And the media will manipulate things. The politics especially will manipulate things. I got to go backstage whenever I was in the Midwest and see at a state capitol up front what goes on in the world of politics, and what we have been taught and what actually happens are nothing alike. Nothing. And they couldn't get me out of there fast enough because I was trying to tell everybody that I knew at the time. They're like, "Oh, we got a live one. Get her gone now." But that's just it. It's created just so that there is distress from both sides, so that they can use your energy. And the other thing, I mean, the Romans will tell you this: if you are divided, you are distracted. If the people unite and go, hang on a minute, we've been getting manipulated. You're
Yeah.
not telling us the actual truth. And so whenever people talk about, I need to have my news or my information, consider your source. And that goes back to the Greeks. Consider your source. Who told you this? What is their purpose for telling you this? Is it true? Is that person really truthful? Can you find 3 or 4 more other people that will corroborate that that is the exact same information as truthfully as they can give it? Because, of course, whenever you have an emergency or a scenario, humans will see different things because of our filters. They call it bias, but really it's just the filters that we see the world through. So you need to consider, maybe this person was trying to be truthful to you, but what is their background? What is their upbringing? And most important of all, you have to be the authority for you. What does your body say for its yes and no? We really do need to start practicing. What is my yes? What is my no? Is this truthful for me? Does that sound really truthful? And some of the stuff that may sound outrageous, your body's going, yeah, that's true. So it
Yeah.
takes a little while to readjust to what you've heard with what you thought was correct information. Correct, Amy Bear. No more them versus us. It's
Yeah.
simply those of us that are trying to ascend, are trying to gather everybody. The 2D entities have a right to exist just like anything else does. But what's going to happen is as the photons come in, their energy systems are not capable of making the adjustment to a crystalline structure, which is part of why we're getting the freaked out right now. They're going to have to find, I don't know, maybe they can go underground. I'm almost thinking that they're going to have to go off planet, though.
That's how I feel too. It's gonna be either off planet or there's gonna be, a time switch, and we're
Yeah,
gonna go into a different time frame than they will.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it's simply because their body structures and their energy structures are not capable of withstanding that much photonic light. It's just not.
Yeah. 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 Um, does 2D become stone people?
I don't think so.
I don't
I,
either.
I really don't think so, because to me, the stone people themselves, they feel really high vibe to me. I think that the stone
Ancient.
people hold, like if you look at a Lemurian crystal, it has coding inside of it. I just, for myself, I don't think that they do become stone people. They almost remind me of that old cheesy TV, what was it? Land of the Lost. The baddies in there that were called the Slee Stacks were these incredibly slow moving, but terribly scary lizard people. I think
Wow.
that's what the 2D entity people are like.
Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
I think that's what used to, I mean, every kid that I knew from that era, because it's like if you watch it now as an adult, it's like I was afraid of that. It's like, yes, I was deathly instinctively afraid of that. And I think that's just it. I think it's an instinct thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's correct. Their lanes are
I
not going to merge with us.
I think so too, Judy.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. Hypnicity. Let's build our own Mother Earth's Garden of Eden. Um, and that's what we're already doing. Because being creators ourselves, when we're divine. Um, and that's the thing. Other people have created their life. They've created their world, and what they think is true. Um, that's their creation, and it is true for them. And they do care about it. And I don't think they all care about it like in a way that's they're being consciously objective that, oh, this might hurt somebody or, oh, they're not aware of that for the most part. Anyway, what? Sally, you saved 2 babies today? Oh, lizard babies. I love it.
To Ataras.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, and
Um,
then to clarify, I'm not talking about our reptile friends that are here. These really are lizard that I was talking about is 2D entities. I was simply using that as a representation of what I would imagine them to look like.
Yeah. This is an interesting question from Annie. I want to live inside the earth. Is that in alignment with 5D
There,
galactic?
yeah, there are a lot of civilizations that we've been told of. The Fae. Um,
Mhm.
there are the Ant Nation, I think, that you told me that were underground that saved the Hopi civilization. Also, in Mount Shasta, there are the Telosians that live in Telos underneath, and those are just the ones that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, I found a lot of Lyrans in the cave systems
That
from
would,
Mount Shasta to, there's a huge cave system here in my area.
mm,
And I see a lot of them around, but also the Hathors. I mean, and I don't think it's just 5D. I think the dimensions go up inside the earth. It's like another universe, kind of, when I go in there and look at it. Like I can see different,
and
um,
that's just it. If you're on the frequency, you can see it. It's like changing the thing on your radio so that you can tune into it. And suddenly, when you're tuned into it, you're starting to see things. And so, right now, we're getting a little bit of a bleed through that's causing the um, optical illusions. Sometimes people say, but that can also be your clairs that are coming online as you're beginning to see and hear more of these things. And as we continue going forward, and we're working on our resonant frequency and attuning to the higher photon light that's activating us, we're going to be able to see more and more of these beings.
and and they are. So this is funny. I'm on an algorithm with Scientific America, and then I get a bunch of other science stuff.
Mhm.
New species are being delivered or seen like every other day.
Yes.
Yeah, every other day. And it's the Fae coming up for sure, but
Yeah.
the inner worlds as well. Yeah, definitely. I love that. Yeah, Hypnicity says, it takes every kind of people to get things done. I'm more interested in building bridges.
Same. That's
Yeah,
a healthy outlook too. And you can still keep your opinions and everything. It's just that we need to look to how do we work together. You need to remember that we have more in common with each other. Like who was that? Patrick, somebody versus Travis with their
oh,
politics.
Patrick Mahomes.
They're
Yeah.
still got to work on that team together. So it's a uniting in that team.
Well, and it's interesting, to watch. It's a great metaphor, I think, because because the team is one of the best teams in the country, right? Or you can say the world, but football's really well,
It's
you
its own
know.
thing, sure.
Yeah, it's North American. But it's truly, they work really well together, and there's none of that. It's all about doing what you're there to do.
Do the job.
Yeah, do the job, and they look at people of how they show up that day and
Mhm.
what they bring to the table. And if we can take that metaphor as well, and then if their families start phasing out or something, there's really nothing they can do about that but watch it.
Well,
So,
and there again, I think that they need to keep reaching for, and this is for everybody, reach for the thing that unites. Focus on the thing that unites, because again, if it's division, then that is the 2D entities.
yeah, yeah, and there's a lot of that. Hi, Paul. Um, yeah. So anyway, we were talking about that. We were also talking about um, what we can do to keep ourselves in that high vibration. But also, if you get fear, watch it. I mean, there's a reason that we have that fight or flight um, tendency and that reptilian brain.
Don't be sitting there going, "Oh, if you have a boulder that's falling down the hillside, run."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If it's a train that's coming at you, move your car.
Yeah. There's this old proverb of somebody that's in the water and they can't swim or they're having a hard time swimming, and first a raft comes and slows down for them and they're like, no, I'm trusting in spirit. And then a boat comes and they're like, no, I've got this. I'm in spirit right now. And then when they pass from it and they say, where were you? I thought you were going to save me. And they're like, I sent that boat. I sent that raft to save you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Look for
yeah.
your signs. Look for your help.
Yeah. Yeah. It can be healthy.
Your body. We're still in a 3D world, even though we've had glimpses of different things. I mean, I've accidentally levitated, but that's just it. It was an accident. And it didn't last long because I didn't really know what I was doing and it was uncomfortable. But most of the time I'm in a 3D body. So
And that's uncomfortable, like when you're in a group of people and you're meditating at a retreat or wherever, or a temple, and you feel your body start to take off and you're like, not now.
no.
Yeah. Yeah. Slow down. Slow down. So, and exhaling completely. That's the other thing that we were talking about when we were talking about breath work, because that will build up toxins, not releasing all that CO2 every time.
Yes, it will.
And that's
your blood pH as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's huge. It's huge to let it all out. And that's another great metaphor, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So let it out.
Let it go.
Yep. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. I was telling everybody this morning in meditation, or before meditation in chat, that I had to have a big talk with Archangel Michael yesterday, and get my scissors or my little knife and just walk with it for a couple of days, because I'm starting to review everything, the mistakes that I've made here and there, and I'm watching them, and I'm like, girl, you're rocking it. What are you talking about? And I was like, don't do that. Get your knife out. Start cutting that cord every time you see it come up. But
that's great. Yeah. That's called a pattern interrupt. So you're rewiring your brain as you do that. Yeah. So that you're focusing more on the positive. And when you do that, you can also, if you want, you can send back that part that really upset you, send it into the light so that it can be recycled, and then you can reclaim it. Or you can imagine it coming back through like a crystalline filter to you so that it rejoins you, but it goes through as a purification.
Love that. Love that. Yeah. I always use the stardust. Oh, Judy's been using her sword today. Yay. Yeah. Girl. Animals do help us unite.
Absolutely.
Anywhere. I love that.
They don't understand the fuss and the distress that the humans go through every 4 years, 2 years. It just doesn't make sense to them. And sometimes even if we think that we're excited and happy, they still pick up the underlying stress.
Yeah. Yeah. My daughter woke up today and wasn't having a good day and wound up staying home. And she's taking some courses and she's living with me right now. Yep. And my son, and I love it. And but I went to take my dog out for his walk and he's like, I'm not leaving this house, girl.
Oh, nope.
Yeah, I got a job to do. So he just wants to be here and take care of everybody. Right? Betsy Palmer review. Yeah. Yeah. Why even bother? So anyway, and that's a good point, Betsy, because I do feel like we can review things and look at them and think, look at how far you've come, or we can review things and hold on to them and think and judge ourselves.
Yeah, I think all of us have had that where we look back on it like junior high. It's like cringe. But at the time, you were functioning with the skill set and the information that you had in the moment. It's easy for us now to say, oh my word, because now we have new information. Now we've grown a bit. Things have changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
You did the best you could at the moment that you had it. And that's the other thing. I don't want you to be too compensating for people that are horrible in your lives. So you need boundaries, but you do have to look at others as well and say They're doing the best that they can with the information that they have.
Yeah. Yeah. Hypnicity, you were bullied in school and hated going to school. Um, yeah. Boy, that's another show, isn't it? School. Man. Okay. Got some questions coming in here. Annie Bear. Excuse me. Goodness. Can you tell us about the art behind you, Debbie? Is it Maori?
It is Lemurian, Annie Bear, and it's back there doing Lemurian technology for everybody. It is the calendar. It is also light codes that are working on everybody for transformation for our days. Actually have different names as well. For example, today is Unra Toha, or Toho rather, which is the sign of the whale. So it's going through your energy system all the way out to the stargates and then back in through to your own energy system during each cycle of the month, the weeks, the days. There's a lot that's actually packed into that piece of artwork behind me. So it's
Wow.
back there, and it does Lemurian technology on everybody.
Is it part of the rainbow light?
It's its own Lemurian technology. So I'm not sure how the rainbow light would work over the top of it.
Wow.
It's kind of its own standalone technology. Um, it's got its own thing going on. It's aligning everything. And in fact, if you want, we can just do a really quick harmonization.
I would love that. Yeah,
Right.
let's do that for sure.
Okay. Tihe, hori, hora, mahakawatahi, it ingwa to tell iri to otowana, why you would tapu. It ingwa to finui, tarani to katao, why you would tapu. It ingwa to fire tama to it, to tama, why you would tapu. Tihe, hori, hora. There we go.
Wow. I love that. Isn't it interesting, the different sounds that makes and the different consonants that come out and the different vibrations of it?
Mhm.
It's kinda magic, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 It is a technology because it works on the innermost cellular level. It's going to work on Maita is also the Merkaba is also called Maita, and then it works on the land, water, sky, and then it also works on your female energy in your heart, your male energy in your head, and your high heart, which is the child.
Yeah, our source, our divinity. That's, that high heart energy. I really feel coming in right now that it's, really important to, go to our high heart and, abide. Like,
Mhm.
what does this feel like to me? Not just our heart, but it's so tied to our heart chakra and our throat chakra and the clarity and that self-judgment,
Well,
how we
and
talk to ourselves.
right now everything is, and it's kind of mirrored out into the universe because everybody's fighting over am I a male, am I a female, am I and it's just it's so fluid right now. But we've been raised currently in they call it the patriarchy, but it really is head centric. My thoughts are more important than what I feel, and yet if you can get into as our divine feminine rises and everybody's looking around for the females to step forward and men becoming female and this and that, it's simply we're trying to focus on taking our energy from our head and balance it with our heart coming through. And then of course as the two balance, then you open into that potentiality, which is what the child is pure potentiality, which is the high heart itself. But because the heart space has been so neglected and quite frankly abused, we've and it's not just this lifetime. It's been several, multiple past lives that we've had where we've been abused in our heart, where it's had to shut down for survival's sake alone. It's as we're stepping through into these new energies, the heart itself will begin to unfold. And then we deliver it into the child, which is like you were saying, the high heart ascension. But sometimes people have to get out of their head space to balance with their heart space before they can get into the child space.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. They talk about, we talk about the five senses and then we get into the subtle senses. But, you know, a lot of scientists say now we have 50 senses, but really once we go into 5D and while we're here now, I mean, the senses that we have, it's unbelievable, the subtle senses, the
Oh, yeah.
awareness.
And
Yeah.
sometimes that can lead you into trouble. People that are sensitive to energy, empathic people especially, you're going to need to start paying attention to, is that mine or is that someone else's? Am I in overwhelming sadness and grief because something is happening in my life, or am I picking up on the collective? So it's important to pay attention right now.
I like the way you do your orb work too. Do you have time to do one of those today?
Do you want me to do like the bubble technique? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Where that comes from? Sure, I can certainly walk us through that.
Okay.
And this will be helpful for if people are needing to ground and you just need some guidance as well. So what we'll do to start off with is just look up, nice and gentle with your eyes, but you're going to look at a point ahead on the ceiling, and that's going to correspond with your third eye. So as you look up, just gently close your eyelids and take a nice deep breath in, and then let that out nice and slow. And then forget about your eyes. And what we're going to do is imagine a light coming from above. And that light can be any color it wants to be. Let it come in through the top of your head and go through your forehead, your eyes, your ears, nose, sinus cavities, bathing your teeth, your jaw, down through the throat, the base of the neck, all the way down the neck and into the shoulders. It's a nice pop. We're going to imagine the same light bathing through your shoulders, down off the shoulders into your biceps, your triceps, your elbows, forearms, wrists, bathing your hands and out and towards Mother Earth. Back at the top of your shoulders, you're going to imagine the same light cascading down all through your chest space, all around the lungs, cleaning through the heart, the pericardium, which is the sac that protects the heart and filters out things that might be harmful to our passion. Just going to let this bathe through the scapula and going down the back, all around the spine, down through the hips. In the front, we're going to cascade this same energy down through the diaphragm and into the abdomen. And in here, we're going to turn that light up just a wee bit because we tend to shove things like our energy and our emotions into our abdomen. This is stuff that we can't deal with in the moment. So it tends to get shoved onto that belly space as we go through our day. So we're going to use this energy to just kind of power wash all the way through the abdomen. Good. Sending it down, down towards Mother Earth. Power washing through the hips so that we feel safe and secure, that we can move out and around through the world on our path. Good. Okay, now we're going to cascade it down through the thighs, your knees, calves, into the ankles. We're going to let it pool here a little bit. Somebody's got some stuff going on with the ankle. Good. And that light can go ahead and push down and through your feet into Mother Earth. Now keep that same light going from above. Mother Earth is going to offer you a light from below. She's going to bring it up. Let that be whatever color it's going to be. It could be a different color or the same color. Whatever comes in, it's going to come up through your feet, your ankles, your calves, your knees, your thighs, your hips. Let that bathe all around where the lower back and the hips meet. Good. All the way up into your abdomen. Coming up, 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 up through the diaphragm into the chest space. In your heart space, both of these lights are going to meet. And they're going to form an orb, a bubble, sphere. Now push that light, that bubble, all the way around you. You're going to step inside this orb so that you can be inside it. Good. Let it go ahead out naturally. Push out all the way around you. 3 feet, 10 feet. Could be 25 feet or more, whatever distance your body thinks is the most comfortable. Perfect. Now you can reset this bubble anytime throughout your day. You can make it your intention that once you're inside this bubble, that only frequencies for your highest good come through this. You can do this technique as you go out the front door, or you can do it as you're sitting in your car and you need to recenter before you go into like the grocery store or run into the post office. Once you come back outside, you can also redo this. You can basically reset it as many times as you need. And sometimes you'll need to reset this 1,000,000 times a day. But this helps you to go ahead and to ground and to learn that your soul energy is what needs to be in your space around you. And it will help you to ground and anchor in some of these higher frequencies and some of these higher vibrations that are coming in right now that are leading to so much distress and dizziness, and sometimes you feel scattered and ungrounded. This will help. Great.
Wow. That was beautiful. Hi, warrior girl. And Brenda's here, Shamanic Journeys. Hello, hello. Annie Verse says humor is a clair. It lightens everything around you.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you can laugh, the laughter will raise your frequency very quickly. In Japan, they actually have something called laughter yoga.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Also curiosity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you can, it uses a different part of the brain than fear, curiosity.
Yeah, it will shrink the fear.
Yeah. Judy says she has a Lemurian crystal wand,
Yes.
very striated. Do they hold records? Thank you.
Yeah, they hold codes. That's what they're for. The crystals themselves, they hold the codes in them.
Yeah, I think George used to talk about using them, the wands,
Mm-hmm.
and it depended on the points that it would have on it
Mm-hmm.
for healing, for crystal healing.
I find just looking at them, you can see them online. You don't have to hold them specifically. You can, through your eyes, get some of the coding from it if you're looking at photos of them. But yeah, you can also do where you can just hold them, and you'll be picking up the coding that is inside those.
Yeah. Oh, Judy, it has 2 points. Nice. Yeah. Interesting, artists and oracles. Anyone else having weird teeth and gum sensitivities lately? If so, any tips to help with this? I am, as a matter of fact, artists and oracles.
Well,
I can go there.
part of the bubble technique. I was also doing a little bit of energy work through that. So if you wanted to go back through and listen to that, it wasn't just the colors that you picked coming in the light. That is supportive, but there is also some energy that I did, and that was embedded in there. That's why sometimes you'll hear me and I'll go through it reasonably fast. Other times you'll hear me pause at different areas, and that's because I'm kind of including my energy healing at the same time.
Oh, nice. Sonia, can you repost your question? I don't see it, dear. Oh, here it is. Okay, found it. Is the pressure we get in our heads downloads?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sometimes it is. Sometimes it's different gravitational pressures that are coming in. If you're sensitive to atmospheric changes, sometimes you'll have a storm system that's coming through, and sometimes you'll end up with, if you're sensitive to the barometric changes, sometimes you can have that. But yes, you can request that it slows down if this is energy that's coming in. And my go-to is always take a nap. If you can lay down, and if you're available to, just go ahead and take a nap. If you're in a position where you really can't nap, but you're getting exhausted, you can take a cat nap, which is where you just simply close your eyes and then allow your body to rest as much as you possibly can in that moment. Sometimes it can only take 15, 30 seconds, and you can refresh yourself with that. But even that brief of amount of time will allow you to integrate what that is.
Yeah, it really does. And going into whether it's meditation or just stillness, it does reset your brain and your nervous system,
Mhm.
brings your body into homeostasis, and it's like sleep. And the deeper you can go with that and take some time with it, it is like having 3 or 4 hours of sleep,
Yeah,
or can be. Yeah, yeah, reverse aging. That's what I'm go headed with that.
sure.
Yeah. I've been thinking about that a lot lately, the reverse aging, because we can easily do that.
Mhm.
I mean, since we're in charge of energy and every cell in our body,
Yes,
and the cells in our body are constantly changing.
yes.
Yeah, energy
We're
is
upgrading.
always in motion. Yeah, yeah. So here we go, guys. Here comes, yeah. Um, okay, Barbara, we have a chakra at the base of our skulls. It's probably healing and opening. Oh, interesting. Is that the medulla oblongata? I know that there's a communication center back here when I meditate
Mhm.
that kind of shines it up to my third eye. And that really helps with visualizations.
Yeah, I have it sometimes where it just comes straight from above and then it goes straight out through my third eye.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting how it's different for so many people, and there's no wrong way, you guys.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, and I'll
It's
speak to that to the people that aren't sensitive to the energy. It's still, if you're going through the grounding process, that bubble technique that we just did, it's still going to help your physical body to relax. And the energy is still working on you, whether you believe it or not.
yeah, it is, isn't it? It's interesting. Um, yeah, calling forth our light and our sun around the central sun. So,
Yeah.
can you talk about that, like aligning to the central sun?
Yeah, right now, actually, what we're having for the Lemurian birth signs is we're in the month of Namu, which is the sign of the dove. Our essence is peace this month, as I had said. What's happening right now is the photons are coming from the central sun. That's that diamond white light energy that we see. And it is coming through. The star date for this month is Wahi, which is our sun that we do see. And then that is creating that essence of peace as it goes through the world right now.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. Um, lots of sense. And aligning with that light, that diamond light, I've always seen as they showed it to me years ago. It's like instant awareness, kind of like Moses when he saw the burning bush, or Yeshua when he went into the desert. That has a lot to do with the desert, doesn't it? The diamond lights.
To
Side.
me, and that's just it. It's everybody's difference. It always feels like extremely fizzy energy, like tiny, tiny little champagne type bubbles.
Yeah, effervescent.
Yeah, and it's almost like that old candy, the pop rocks. It's that just that energy that comes through.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, this is interesting. Did someone say shenanigans? There are jellyfish that are basically immortal. There's no reason we can't accomplish the same given with the right tools.
Yeah, there's no senescence.
Yeah, and I have always heard and I believe that there are people that have lived thousands of years in a human form. Perhaps it was a hybrid, but we're all hybrids.
Mhm.
So, this body is made of stardust. Most of the earth is made of stardust. So, Craig is asking, Teri Debbie, I have a constant ringing in my ears. I know some is damaged, but now it's both. Is this something else?
You can always check with your medical providers first, but a lot of the ringing in the ears is simply that we are getting the photons, as I said, coming in from the central sun, and so it's also connected to angels, but it's the higher frequency beings and the higher frequencies themselves, and so it's coming in, and your ears are picking that up, and they're getting acclimated to it. You can make the request, would you please tone it down? Mine have had ringing in the ears for years now, and they're different pitches. Sometimes one ear will have a different pitch to the other one. Most of mine tends to be exceedingly high, but I have also had low pitches come in, and sometimes different sounds coming and going. So it's
Yep.
interesting when they're coming in, and I accept them myself because I know that it's all still working on my energy field.
Yeah, when the rock people come in, they're very deep, gravelly, pardon the pun, sound. But
It sounds like rocks, that sound of in the stream whenever they're tumbling together, or with the ocean waves. We have some really large stones on some of our beaches, and so as the ocean waves are coming in, the rocks are being tumbled, and it has that really deep, um, growly, churning sound to it.
yeah, yeah, it feels like even the feeling of that frequency is, like, so primordial, so
I can
ancient.
imagine from it.
Yeah,
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 you
so
feel it in your
beautiful.
body.
Yeah. Um, Annie Bear is talking about, Debbie's channel. It's easy to find and figure out what your Lemurian sign is. Yeah, and, so I've got that listed in the description, everybody. If you, please do go and subscribe to Debbie's channel. And you also have a website available.
Yes, it's simply debbiedement.com. And so
Mhm.
it shows the energy healing that I started with, primarily animals, but I also do humans. Humans are critters too. And if you are to look underneath the kitten picture, it will take you to the link directly to my shop. And that has the MP3s that I have for my energy healing, which is meridian based, remote energy healing. And I have it for cats, dogs, humans, and horses. And then I also have a Lemurian collection, and so it's different T-shirts, hoodies, mugs. If you were wanting to look at the different birth signs, you can click on any of those and get the information for that as well. And then, yeah, on my YouTube channel, I try to do a weekly oracle reading on Tuesday mornings,
Yeah.
and for each of the signs. So I walk through. I start off each week with Ma'ita, and Ma'ita are the 29th, 30th, and 31st of any of the months. And so that is the central sun. Your essence and your symbol then is the crystal. And then the rest of them, I try to start with the month that is having their birthdays. And then I rotate everybody else's signs after that. So I'll go through the calendar. But like for example, we just finished with the August babies. Now we're doing the September babies first. And so if you were an August baby now, then you'll be at the end of the list. I just like to rotate it so that the Maitas do come first, because they're a little confusing otherwise. But that's our 13th symbol for the Lemurian astrology, for the Lemurian birth signs, and then the other 12 rotate around the central sun. And as it comes from the central sun, it beams through different stargates for each month.
Yeah. I love that, calling it a Stargate instead of a a sign or whatever it was. Sonia feels so tired, so taking it easy, feel like having to recover.
Sleep. Sleep is good because it gets your conscious mind out of the way and it allows your body and your DNA and your light body to integrate.
Yeah.
I resisted as well, but really the fastest way to get through feeling exhausted is to go ahead and sleep or
It
just doze.
It's so important to abide in what we're feeling. So, Sonia, I'm so glad that you're feeling it and you're acknowledging it and doing something about recovering from it because it's really important. Really, really important. And Craig says, yes, the United States Air Force messed up my hearing aircraft maintenance. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
My dad works with aircraft mechanics, so I totally get it. And you definitely have to take care with the earmuffs and everything, but some of it is a combination of the physical damage that was done, but also just simply we have an awful lot of these high frequencies that literally are coming in. So you're getting two things.
Interesting. Okay. Look at this and see if you want to answer it. Debbie, okay. Debbie does not do,
I don't do politics.
yeah. Yeah.
Don't.
Interesting question, though, Mary. Really interesting. Intriguing.
It's
Uh,
not something that I'm going to dip into.
yeah. I think we're going to find
You
people are going to start
may find,
coming out as to who they
and
are.
the other thing too is you may find is that's a cardboard cutout. It's a brand. It's a logo that somebody created, and they now have technology where they can create people from AI, and they look legit, and they're in videos and they're in photos, and I mean it's just it's not something that I really want to dip into.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on again. We could do this all the time, and we should, because it's such a joy to have you here, and it's nice, it's refreshing, and it's really a good way to start the day, right, Mary Palmer or Betsy Palmer? Yeah, yeah. Everyone in chat, been a fab start for your day. She's in Hawaii, so
Aw.
um, yeah, yeah, everybody. Well, everybody have a great week. And so, are you going to be on anybody else's channel this weekend? I know you're getting around.
This weekend, free, but I'm headed over to my own on Tuesday, and then next Wednesday, I have a different meeting, and then next Wednesday is Allie. So I have Allie next, and that'll be at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on 9/11.
Yeah, 9/11 is going to be fun, I think.
I'll be
I think it's
holding
gonna be
the
a lot
fort
of
on
fun.
9/11.
Right? Yeah, yeah. All right, everybody. Well, have a great day. And I'm going to go in with Callie Hiller. So, Callie Hiller will be on in about 27 minutes. Here. All right, everybody. Have a great one. We'll see y'all later. Bye bye.